Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back. Thank you for hanging out with me today. Now, why will I never get rid of a 20-year-old 1996 Toyota Land Cruiser? It's over 20 years old, and what I do with the family, my loved ones, is I take that rig off-grid to seek adventure as often as possible. So why would I keep that vehicle and never get rid of it? This has been a question that's been coming up again and again since I got the engine rebuilt. That created a lot of dialogue. Why would you just put the same old engine back in the 80? Why wouldn't you turbocharge it? Why wouldn't you do a Cummins diesel swap? There are all kinds of different options. When the engine blew up, why wouldn't you get something newer? Why wouldn't you get a Tacoma? And on and on and on. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and I have 3 primary reasons why I'll never get rid of my trusted, venerable Toyota FZJ80 Land Cruiser. We're going to talk about those 3 reasons, and those 3 reasons are: capability, cost, and the third one I'm going to save till the end. So let's get right into it and summarize some of the reasons. So first of all, starting with number 1, the capability. The FZJ80 is a solid axle vehicle. Now, independent front suspension, is it reliable? Maybe. Yeah, I mean, you can argue there are plenty of Baja racers that are running independent front suspension, but from my own personal experience, I've seen a lot more CVs broken on the trail, even in the last few weeks, than I have solid axle vehicles. And if you look at the old venerable off-road vehicles like the Jeeps and the Land Cruisers and many others, they're solid axle because they're just darn durable. Now, also, this is like the holy grail of off-road capability. It is triple locked, and what that means is I can lock the rear differential so that it's solid. I can lock the front differential. I can do that separately, or I can lock the center. Now, what does locking the center mean? We all kind of get an idea for locking the front and rear. It kind of turns it into a tank. But the center locking differential allows you to lock the differential at speed. You don't need to be in 4-wheel low, and that distributes the power from the front and the rear and gives you much better traction at higher speeds. Okay, now the third thing is that it's basically a tractor motor. It's a 4.7 liter inline 6 Toyota motor that has stood the test of time. It is reliable and the cost of maintenance is low. We'll get into that a little bit later. So that's reason number 3, is that the engine is just so darn reliable. Also, with the FZJ80, you can lift it 2.5 inches and fit 35-inch BFGoodrich KM3 tires. That is 315 75 R16 tires. That's what I have on the 80, and all I needed to do was lift it 2.5 inches, and there's no tire rubbing whatsoever, and everything just works. I didn't have to do any kind of suspension geometry adjustment that was too crazy. A couple of offset bushings, and that was it. The 35-inch tires just fit, and there are relatively few vehicles out there that you can just lift 2.5 inches and have 35s go in there. If you lift more than 2.5 inches, then you're looking at all kinds of suspension geometry changes, and that means money. So that's the other reason. My 35s basically just fit. Now, the 96 Land Cruiser is also mostly analog, and that means I can fix it on the trail. I like the talk about all the electric off-road vehicles like the Cybertruck and the Rivian. It's very exciting, and I hope something happens with those. But could I fix it if it died on the trail? Well, with my Land Cruiser, it's over 20 years old. I feel like I can fix most things. Also, the Land Cruiser is right for us. It is a mid-size SUV, it's very capable off-road, and it fits the kind of overlanding we do. We'll go on 17-day trips or extended trips, 3 weeks around North America, or we'll drive down to Baja, but we're not living in the vehicle. And so living in the vehicle introduces some new challenges. You might want something a little bit larger, but for us and the kinds of overland trips that we do, it is the perfect form for what we need. Final thing on capabilities is that I know it. I just know it. That's why I put the same engine back into it, and that's why I love to drive it. That's why I feel safe. That's why I think it's reliable. That's why I feel confident that I can fix it on the trail. I know that vehicle, and that's another reason why I'm going to keep it. All right, now on to section number 2. Let's talk a little bit about the cost. Okay, so a lot of you guys know I just recently put a brand new motor in the FZJ80. Now that is not an inexpensive proposition. I blew the head gasket, the motor became hydrolocked, it seized, bent all kinds of parts, and when I was looking at it, it was like, you know what? We're not just gonna build the head, we're going to replace the entire motor. I put a brand new engine in it. Now, the reason why this is not justification for just scrapping it and getting something new is even if I did that, say I scrapped it and I put that money towards a new vehicle, what I could buy would not be as good as what I have now with a brand new motor in it. And it's far less expensive to replace that motor and do other maintenance than to buy a brand new vehicle. In fact, if you compare apples to apples and you look at vehicles that have all the capabilities of the FZJ80, what you'd be spending on that vehicle is gonna be north of $80,000. It is an expensive proposition. There are exceptions, and yes, I'm talking new, but it's going to be expensive to get the same capabilities. So for me, it made more sense to just invest in a new motor and do the maintenance. Now, once the vehicle is running, the true cost of ownership is low compared to other vehicles. When I was looking at other vehicles and I was doing research, I looked at the Land Rover Discovery 2 and I looked at the Toyota Land Cruiser, and the concept to be familiar with is true cost of ownership, not what it costs to drive it off the lot. What are you going to be spending on repairs and maintenance? And the true cost of ownership, do your own research, on the Toyota Land Cruiser is very low. Final thing, gas. I do not get good gas mileage. In fact, if you do the math, it's rather expensive to get the thing from point A to point B. It gets about 11 miles per gallon. But again, look at the capability of the vehicle and go and see what you would have to get for the same capabilities and what kind of gas mileage it gets. Even modern day vehicles with the same amount of gas mileage aren't that much better than what we have. So if we consider all of those costs, all of those factors, from a cost standpoint, I'm still saving money by getting a new motor, doing the maintenance, and paying for the extra gas. Now, the final category. What was that final category? Why will I never get rid of the Toyota Land Cruiser? Well, I'll tell you, it's personal. It's emotional. It's not practical. Yes, it's a utility vehicle. Yes, the form follows function, and it is very efficient in terms of how it's built. But it's emotional. When I went through a dark period of my life, and I turned back to the great outdoors, that was the vehicle that helped me crawl from the depths and change my life. I've been with it for many, many years, and I think of, doing goofy things like putting my son in the trasharoo on the back of the spare tire, and that's a memory with that vehicle. No, we weren't driving. Or I think of all the trips that we've made, and there's an attachment. It's not logical, but it's a member of the family, and we'll always keep it. Now, our needs might change. I might do long-term overland travel, living in the vehicle for months, and then perhaps I'll change and get something different that serves that type of overlanding a little bit better. But I'll still won't get rid of the 80 because I'm always going to want to make those kind of trips, and it's very good at doing that. But it's the memories. It is going to the Grand Canyon. It is when Corey and I were dating and I introduced her to the vehicle, and well, you know, they got along. It was the trips with my son across Utah. Those are the reasons that we really stick with the vehicle, and we reinvest in the vehicle. We reinvest because we don't want to throw it away. We don't want to cast it aside. We don't want it to become part of a landfill. We want it to be around for years and years to come. All right. Hey, I hope this was useful. I hope that you guys, think about some of these things. If you're considering buying a rig, there's so many different things to consider. The type of overlanding that you'll do and what capabilities you actually need. Consider the true cost of ownership, consider the capabilities, and finally, it's a personal decision for what you want to do. If you found this video useful, hey, of course, you guys hit that subscribe buttons, even hit that bell. That way you know when there's new videos. That really, really helps us out. It really does. But this video, like all of our videos, is supported by our Overland Bound community worldwide. We're over 20,000 members. They are here to support you in your adventure travel. And if you really want to help us out, get on over there to our website, look into becoming an Overland Bound member, and we'd love to have you on the crew. All right, thank you very much, you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. I look forward to talking to you again soon. And until next time, outfit and explore.